In the last video, we discussed the Pyro Solver SOP. Now let's continue with that. Let's select this and we have control field over here. And it's reading speed, right? So last time we were using speed. So here we need to calculate the speed over here. So if you don't know that where is this parameter, so I'll just select this, find, hey, where is the speed? So it's here. So use this instead of just, because there are lots of tab and it has multiple parameters. So I'll turn on the speed and let me simulate this. Right, so it's not adding that much. And what is this compute range is doing? It will just give me maximum range, and that's not useful over here. Okay, so now I want to visualize the velocity. So for that I can just go to field and I can select this speed. I can just open this over here, and I have some options over here that I can just visualize this in 3D. So I can just use plane as well. So this plane is quite useful over here. So I'll just select this plane and I'll just copy this range and paste it over here. And I'm not going to change this over here. I'll just make changes this in this area only. So let me just check which range is working well. So this is fine. Yep, this is working well. So we have to lower this number over here, right? So let me just reduce it, maybe 3. It's not visible. Let me reduce this by 0.7. So something is visible over here. Let me just turn this off and just check the difference. So it's not affecting that much if you see. So for now, let's just turn this off because we don't have enough room for that one. So instead we will use density over here. And I want to turn this to n density, and here also we will follow the same thing. Just range and paste over here. Cool. Let's go to the camera and check. So currently it's adding everywhere. So I want to add in this area only. So I can just go over here and change this. So let me increase this by 1 and 2. So something is visible in the background. Yep. Let me just reset the simulation. Yep. So this thing is working. Awesome. So currently our main plan is we will use more disturbance as well, right? So let's add them. So we will have more speed in the system to deal with. So let's just dive inside. So here I can just use extra disturbance. So I think this is fine and leave it to default. Let me connect these. Reset the simulation. Yeah, so it's affecting. And now let me just check the velocity. Yep, I have some velocity now. Yep, as you can see, it's working. And let me just turn this off. Is there any difference? Yeah, now it's working. So that's what we need, enough speed also in the system. Cool. So now everything. Currently, let me just cross check. We have this. I can increase this over here, but I think everything is working really well over here. So it's not required for now. Okay. It's covering it actually larger area at the moment, so I have to increase this more. Let me use 75, and yeah, I want less area only. Cool. And next I want to reduce this dissipation as well, so which is here, so I can just go and reduce that, which is also fine. So if you notice over here, can you see we have some stepping issue? And what will be the normal approach of this one? We can just use substeps and everything, right? So for this kind of stepping, we don't really need that substeps. And I'll just show that. So there are the many reasons of using this static scatter, right? So you will notice now. So here, why it's creating that stepping issue? So let me just take a screenshot of this. So currently this is current frame and previous frame is this. So here we don't have data in this area. So what substeps will do, if you use two substeps, it will just add one more data in here. And if we use three substeps, then it will add three data in here. But what substeps will do, it will also increase the simulation times 3 times as well. So that's not solution for this kind of issue. So what we can do, we can just fill the gap at source level only. So let me show you how we can do that. So we just need one connectivity. So what it will do, it will just give class, or in some cases it can be a ID. So it's from 0 to 9. So currently we have 1000 points, and I will just use time shift, meaning I want to select this previous frame -1. As you can see, so I'll just merge these two, and to create a bridge between them, I will use add. And here I can just select class, or if it is particle system, then we can use ID. And again I will just use scatter. So don't use this force count. So what's the issue is, if there is a less moment, then also it will just keep this constant count, right? So we need density instead. So this is more easier. Yeah, so let's check. Yep, default is fine. Let's just turn this off. Cool. So where exactly here? So if I stay on this frame and if I reset this simulation, it is still showing, right? So what we need to do over here, instead of one frame, we can just use 2 frame as well. So it will create a bit longer trail now, as you can see. And now let's just check. Let's reset the simulation. But we cannot just go that way, right? So for now, technical problem we have fixed, but we can just implement other stuff also to avoid that. So let me just reset the simulation. Yeah, it is there, but if we add collision also over here, then it can fix some issues. So let me add collision. Oops, I have to copy this. And connect this. So here also I have that option. Just go and select VDB, and I can just use STF. Awesome. Let me turn everything on, and I want to reduce voxel as well. So now you can see it is reduced but it is not fully fixed. And let me show you other techniques as well how you can fix it. So currently why it is there, it is because of this noise. Currently we are using this rest field, right? So instead we can just use direct rest position as well, and this tip is really useful. So it's a bit advanced, so we can just use this point cloud open. So this is really useful to transfer the data, and here I just need to select this and input 2. So here I can just transfer data from points to volume, and I have everything in here from velocity to rest as well. So remember, rest is point data over here. So I'll just use this point cloud filter, and I will just type rest and select this over here. As you can see, there is some minor difference. But that minor difference will fix everything. Now let me reset these. Okay. If I reset this simulation, it will be fixed now. Right? And if you're still new to the warp, just take a screenshot of this. This thing is very useful and it will save you many times. Awesome. But if you're still, this is still not fixing, then just go with this plan option as well. Yep, everything's working, and yep, we have really nice details in here. So everything is cool. But if I check this, so at the moment this looks bit in this box, right? So maybe we can add some noise where we can get some nice shapes over here. So here we will just use turbulent, and we will need other stuff as well. So last time we have used this damping, which is drag. So always good to start with 0 1, and after that we can just use gas blur. It is too big, so we can just go with 008. Okay. And next we have already disturbance, which is working really well. So to break that, I want to go with, so let's just use which box will be better. Let me increase this cube. Yeah, so around 2 or maybe 2.25. Let's just check. So we can go with 2 or maybe 2.25. Yeah, and I will reduce these, and let's say increase pulse length, and I want overall less strength, so I'll just reduce scale. Awesome. And everything is working really well over here. Let me just reset these, cross check. Let me go with this one now. Yep, let's make a flipbook. Let's play this. Yep, this looks awesome, and there is always room for improvement, right? So I would recommend you can just follow some reference for this and work on better noise, better, you know how to control things over here. Yep, so next we will render dust interaction, and I will just select this over here, out dust. So here we will use Solaris to render it, and let's just organize this. I don't want to use this. Yeah, everything looks cool, and I want to keep it bit red. Awesome. Here I can just use law network to use that Solaris, but I can go for this one as well. It's similar only. And currently this is pinned, so let me just, yeah, it will open new viewport, and this is how it looks. And here let me import that. Just go over here, so import. And next I want camera as well, so I'll just import the camera. Let me just play this. So you can see here something is visible. Let me rename this dust, and I want to load that character as well. Let me load, copy this. I want velocity, paste. Yep. So here I can just use Karma, and so it's ready to render now. And I have to make sure that I select this camera, and let's just render this. Yep. So my favorite frame is 60, and I want to screenshot this. So for that I can just use snap. Cool. Next we will work on lighting. So for lighting I will use this as HDRI, and this is really cool website. Cool. So let's use dome light. And I want dark background. Yep, so it's visible over here. And let me just read that. Venice. We can rotate this if you want, but overall this is fine. We can just increase this exposure a bit. Yeah, so this is more bright. And let me add grid as well. So without grid it's not that cool. And let me just increase. Yeah, this is fine. And I have to change color a bit. So I will go with 0.4. At the moment it's using CPU. And let me just snap this out. I want to check rendering speed as well. So let me just turn this off. Let's use full HD only. Cool. Let's just render to ambient. Yeah, smoke is not visible, but we will work on the shading later. But at the moment it's taking 52 seconds to render this, and I have other options as well. So if I go here and I want to use this XPU engine default settings over here, let me just run it. How much time will it take without changing any parameters? It's taking 15 seconds only, and it's extreme fast. As you can see, it's really cool. So we will go with XPU, and we have to work on this pyro shading. Let's do that next. Before exploring MaterialX, I wanted to mention that around 80% of the audience watching are not subscribed. In our industry, we have a limited audience, and your support means a lot. If my tutorials are helping you, please consider subscribing. It's free for you, but it will motivate me immensely to create more content for you. Additionally, if you'd like to support me further, check out my Houdini files and tutorials through the link in the description. Since you're here watching the last video of this series, as a token of appreciation, I want to give you a 10% discount. Use the coupon code TRUEARTIST. These setups are well optimized and easily modifiable to meet your requirements. Thank you for your support. Now let's continue the tutorial. So here that we are using XPU, so it will need XPU shaders as well. And we can just use material library. And I can just type XPU Pyro Preview. So this is kind of quick for pyro shading. And let me just rename these dust. And here I have to just type that dust name, and I have to select dust geometry, which is this over here. So nothing is visible. So let me just dive inside and increase this. Yeah, so something is visible over here. And let me just go with 0.2. So I will have to increase this a lot by 20. And I want to change a color bit. Yep, this looks cool, and let me just render this and take a snap of this as well, so we can just compare. So now, as you can see, after using XPU Pyro shader, this time is more reduced. Cool. And in fact, we can just reduce these samples as well. Do we really need? So that's why we have to just go over everything, and we are not using this depth. And we can just use velocity over here. Just that's it. And other options, we can just leave them default. So for more quality, maybe you can just increase this volume limit, but it's fine. Let me just test. So now it's taking 3 frames only, but it's too grainy, and we can just use, so let's just use 64 only for now. Yeah, I want textures on character as well. So for that, I will use MaterialX. Yeah, so I have to use this MaterialX standard surface. Yep. And this is for character, so I'll just assign it to character only. Character. Cool. And I want image over here, so basically texture of that. So it will be material X image. So how do I find out the texture of this one? So it is already there with the geometry itself. So if I go over here and if I dive inside, and as you can see, it's using some SOP already. So I'll just go to this texture, copy this path, back stage, and I'll just paste it over here. It's reading that texture, and 0. I have that texture now, right? That's what I want. And I want to give it some cool color as well over here. So I think let's go with bit bluish. And I want to cover this area also with this. And we can just use smooth also overall for better. Cool. Yep, this is working really well. Let me just render this. Snap. And as you can see, we have lost the light. So I think it's because of this we have increased. It's too large. So we need to reduce this size. Yeah. Let me just cross check. Do I have lights? Or is it? Let me pin these and just double cross check. Yeah, this will work, but we need to reduce color bit. Yeah, so this looks more bright now, and let's just test this render. Yeah, this looks better now. And before rendering entire sequence, I want to just check half res, and I want to render odd frames. So at the moment you see 120 frames are there, so it will render 60 frames only. So but it will render one, it won't render second frame, it will render third frame, that way. So it's quick, so we can just cross check everything is working in terms of motion blur and moment and everything, right? And as we will render these in low resolution, so let's just use filter over here, NVIDIA. So it will just denoise everything. Cool. So let's just set this path, render. Cool. Let's check this next. Let's check this render. Oops, everything's blank. So as we have rendered odd frames, so we have to make sure that to use nearest frame, so it won't give that issue. Yep, that grid is not working over here. We will fix that. But overall, we need to fix the ground as well. Yep, rest is good. Okay, cool. Let's just disable everything over here, and we can just use 0.5, 0.5 and 0.5. That's good. Reset, and I want to increase this. And one more thing, I can just use shader for this grid as well. So I want zero specular on the grid. I'll just make changes to the color. Let me reduce this by 0.05. Cool. And we can just reduce this even more. We can reduce this a bit. Yep. Now we have more. And one more thing I would like to say is, if we render this on mplay, so currently this is half resolution, so we were using this NVIDIA denoiser. So what it does, so it just remove those detailing we are looking for in the dust. When you see, this looks more flat and this is more detailing. So in some cases you can use this denoiser, but for now I don't want to use this. Okay, so let me just use dust over here, version 1, and I can go with full resolution render, full range. Cool. And I want to increase this. Let's keep it default. So default is also good. So other stuff is fine. We don't want to tweak anything. So but remember, this is not the render resolution currently we are following over here. So if I middle click, it's 0.008. So render resolution is 0.005. So let's just use 0.005 and cross check, it is here as well. So should I just cache this and after that render? So I have to wait for that, and here I have option. So I can just select this render, copy this, and if I go to this stage over here, and here I can just use drop network. In drop network I have option to set sequence. Oops, it's not. Am I reading the right node? Let me just copy again and paste it now. So fetch sim and I will use this to render. So before rendering this, let me just double check if it's properly rendered and we are getting this. Yeah, I know I have this black, right? So maybe in the comp I will just add this similar color so it will be fixed. I can see some grain over here, but that's fine. So we have 20. We can increase density a little bit. So rest is already good. Yeah. So we don't need that much exposure. Let me just double check. So what's the difference? Yeah. So if we reduce the exposure, it's taking lesser time rendering. And just for test, let me just turn on this filter denoiser and let me just check. Is it helping or not? So if it's not helping, then I will disable it. Actually, I need this kind of grainy feel, kind of cool. So it's up to you that you want to use this or not. But in my case, I won't use that. Let's disable this. Okay, so everything looks cool. We will launch this high-res simulation and after that we will render. So for that we need just go over here and node by node. Launch render. Oops, currently it's rendering one frame only. So we have to select this range. So whatever select we over here, it will take the same range in up node as well. So you make sure select everything and double cross check. Yeah, we can see the range. Let's play this. So I have rendered some frames only. The disturbance is too much in this one, right? So we have to reduce that and let's add hammer smoke as well. And we will render with two different camera also. So let's do that. So I have already merged this file and now let's reduce this. So let me go to this frame. So currently, okay, let's freeze the simulation. And so in this case, we exactly know what is the issue. So this gas disturbance is too much. So if you're not aware that which is causing the issue, just disable everything and start one by one. So in my case, I know this and let me just copy this and paste it over here. So mostly we have to play with the range. Okay, so current, let me just, I want to cover lesser area. So let me increase. Yeah, so it will have less impact and let's increase this bit. Okay, and next I think I can just 45. That's fine. Okay, so let's just check few frames. Let me reset the simulation. Yeah, that's what we want. Lesser push. Cool. So we will recache this and again I want to cache this as well. So in here we will have to double check. Okay, so we don't need this temperature flame. So disable this. And here also we have similar options. Density and everything, which is fine. And one more thing, avoid this shop material path. So sometimes if you are using mantra, then you won't be able to use the custom shader. Okay, cool. So I prefer this color for the rendering so I can easily identify. And let me copy this over here and paste. This is smoke sim version 1. I need to copy this and paste it over here. So now I will have two simulation, one simulation is smoke. Yep, I have to import that smoke also over here. Set smoke, and let me just copy this path and paste it over here. For visualization purpose, let's just turn this off, and we have to assign it color. Okay, let me render. It's again black, so it's a smoke. I want to keep it white, so let me reset this color, and we have to reduce it. Okay, reduce it more, little bit. Let me just turn everything on. Yep, this will work. Awesome. And I want to render one more angle from this area as well. So let's just create one more camera. Oops, it's not. Yeah, so let's just stop the render. Yep, this is fine. As I want to render two camera, so this is for the one camera and this will be my second camera. So let me select second camera, and I have to read this again over here, which is render smoke. Yes, connect this and we can paste it over here. Yep, everything looks cool. We just need to turn this on. 0.01 for this is fine. We don't need that much detailing. And one more thing, hammer is also missing. So let's add this. Let's copy stage and paste this over. Yep, now we have hammer. Cool. So I think let's launch a render. And we will check this next. Let's check renders. Yep, everything looks cool, and we have really nice smoke detailing and dust detailing as well. And interaction is also perfect. And let's check second render. Yeah, this camera angle is also good. Yeah, I will use some denoiser and will add background plate as well. So as an enhancement, we have not used particles. As a next step, you can just check how we can apply particles. So it's always good to use particle source. And one more tip, as we have not followed any reference in this one, right? So I highly recommend to follow some reference. So how you can just follow. So this is really cool website, Action VFX we have. And you can just open any footage you want. Just take a screenshot of these. So here you can just place some character, that what is the scale of the character, and based on that you can just walk on the scale, that cube we were changing for the noise and everything. You can just see how breakups we have, how large frequency we have. So based on that you can add disturbance, turbulent and everything. So that will be the next step you can do. Thank you for following along with this series on Houdini Introduction to Volumes 1 Dust Interaction. I hope you found each part insightful and that you've gained valuable skills for your projects. If you enjoyed this series, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials. Your support and feedback mean a lot to me. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment below. Stay tuned for more exciting Houdini tutorials coming soon. See you next time, and happy learning